Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Fifth Doctor Appreciation Society, and and this time with the Seventh Doctor. This is Cold Fusion by Lance Parkin, and Cold Fusion is a story of it's a multi-doctor story, and it's got another Time Lord, a couple of other Time Lords. I don't really know if you could call the adjudicator necessarily a Time Lord, but that's a possibility too. But then there's the doctor's wife, and we'll get more into that later. Here's Lee, and
Hello.
Lee is our fearless leader. And I don't know why I started coughing the minute I got on here, but I did. Anyway, the excitement must be overwhelming me. Well, Doctor Who is great when it's a multi-doctor story. It's true this time; it really does talk about the real sort of you know catastrophe that could happen because of two doctors being in the same place at the same time. A lot of that has been like kind of poo-pooed over the years, like oh, sort of skate through that, and just don't even talk about it. But this time they really zero in on that in a few ways, and also they talk about some of the doctor's early life, and I mean they do loop back and forth through the doctor's life and other things. I'll just pass this over to Lee to get started with his opening thoughts because I need to go find a cough drop really quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. This Big Finish audio drama is adapted from the Lance Parkin novel from 1996, when Virgin was doing the Missing Adventures, slotting in stories in between TV stories.
Bedroom, my
Finish used to do the stories as well. But
man, I got the first
the way they've adapted this,
a second busy show.
it's an interesting thing how they've done it. They've split it into 6 parts, the drama, and of course, as soon as it starts, the Doctor, Adric, Tegan, Nissa, they're sort of split up into teams again, like they used to do on the TV. But then you see you've got the involvement of the Seventh Doctor with his companions from the Virgin books, Roz and Quedge. Great portrayals by the actors who play these characters. I'll get more into that. But it's quite faithful to the original book. So I'm surprised when Big Finish announced they weren't going to do any more of these novel adaptations. They only did a few, but the ones they did were brilliant. So I can't grumble with that. And as I say, to have, as Susan says, to have multi-doctor stories, it's always good fun.
Yeah.
Even if the Seventh Doctor only appears in episode 1 briefly at the beginning, and then reappears. I think it's episode 4.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I don't mind because you say you do get the two Doctors together near the end, and then you've got all the what happens in between. So you've got the actors from the TV series reprising the roles. Janet Fielding, Sarah Sutton, Matthew Waterhouse, Peter Davison, of course, Sylvester. But then you say you've got Yasmin Bannerman playing
Roz
and
and
also
Chris.
Travis Oliver playing Quedge. Which I always like these. When I used to read the books, I always loved these characters. So it's great to I've been finished flesh these characters out a little bit more. So it's what I remember when I read the story back in the 90s. It was a slightly confusing storyline, and to say the least, this is quite a little bit confusing, but it's not that hard to follow. So 'cause it's the toing and throwing all the time. But yeah, I enjoyed this. It was, I say, it was. We've got a few six-parters in the past few weeks of the audio dramas, and say this is another one. So yeah, I enjoyed this. So I'll rush it back over to Susan, see what she says, and then we'll have a good chinwag.
Yeah, the thing that was really amazing about hearing Roz and Quitch is like they were on the Virgin books, I think, and then they showed up a lot on the Missing Adventures ones, but or the Virgin New Adventures and stuff. But this one was something. This was something new and different, and it really revealed a time lady named Patience who was in a coma and was called Patient before, and as she died, kind of old age, actually, kind of old age and advanced problems, medical issues. She regenerated and she was actually able to make contact with the doctor in a number of ways. But the most amazing was like the way that they made contact in the three doctors, and then again in the five. They never did it that way in the five doctors. So no, so like in the three doctors, yeah. And that with the sound effect and everything. Oh my gosh, it was great. It was so great. And then there was, and then you come to find out that she is his wife, and that all of her children were called. And by that, I think that they meant that they were not allowed to regenerate. They were not allowed to move forward in their regenerative process, that they were not allowed, that maybe even they were killed. The whole thing of what they discover about, her, I mean, you must admit that when that was reminded of her, brought back to her mind, I mean, that must have just been heart-wrenching. And so, I mean, like, there were results, there were consequences to the actions of people and situations in the past. And that's really hard. It was really, really hard to listen to, her response. But it was great to meet her as a character. I really want more Patience. And the other thing that was really cool about this was the creatures, the true, what are they called? The Termagants? What are they called? Come on. Oh, come on. They are called the Ferndu.
Ferudu.
I don't know. I was just getting sort of confused. Anyway, those guys were really hardcore, and they had such big voices, big, scary voices. and that was amazing. Um, and the kind of the kind of sympathy we have for the Doctor and his companions. Usually we were like, oh, they're okay, they won't die, there's no problem. But you know, when you get somebody this scary, and doesn't matter what you know is going to happen, you still have fear, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
And that's a good storytelling, and good on you, Lance Parkin, for writing this the way you did, and good on Big Finish for bringing that in. And I think Lance Parkin went in and rewrote the audio play for this. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. And anyway.
The script editor was John Dorney.
Oh, okay. Another good one. Anyway, it was good. It was really good. Man. And the fact that they were looking for cold fusion bombs, and knowing that a fusion bomb would be something like a sun maker kind of thing, that's pretty intense and pretty fun. A fun sort of thing that the Furuta were developing or had or whatever, and like so. Yeah, it was a pretty straightforward story, but there was like a lot of Jeopardy places, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and I think that it's really good. That I think that the 5E's original TARDIS team, you know, he's sort of a space dad at that point. He's like got all these kids. Yes, he's kind of a bit flirtatious with Nissa more than anybody, because he mostly argues with Tegan, and mostly is hard on Adric. And then the seventh Doctor, it was so funny. The seventh Doctor was so insulting to the fifth Doctor. I bet you that made Lee really happy, and thought that was pretty right on, pretty hilarious. But anyway, and but the seventh Doctor wasn't hard on Roz or Chris at all. So like, I just think that was cool. Anyway, anything really stand out to you? Is what are your favorite bits or stuff that you change or whatever?
Well, it was good to have Adric and Roz teamed up in this, because of those two characters, what happened to them further along in their lives. Because spoilers, they both die.
Yeah, hardcore. They both die.
Hardcore, they both die. So to team those two up together, those two lost souls, shall we say, was quite good. The part where the seventh Doctor's, because the seventh Doctor was a manipulator, he always planned ahead what he was going to do, how he was going to defeat this, and he would meddle. But if you throw the fifth Doctor in the mix, he's undoing everything the seventh Doctor has planned. Like fastening up an escape hatch with his sonic screwdriver. When Roz and that lot and Adric come to this room where they know that they've been told there's a hatch, oh, it's sealed. So that cocked up the seventh Doctor's plans, and also to see the reaction from the seventh Doctor when he realizes it's Adric in the armor.
Oh yeah.
He was sort of taken aback, and then then he sort of realizes, oh, one of my other selves is here as well. Which one is it? Because it could have been the fourth or the fifth,
right?
But yeah, that scene there where he's sort of taken aback with Adric being there, then you sort of got a little bit of melancholy in his voice. When he said, "I haven't seen you for a long time." But yeah, it's and you say with the Fifth Doctor, it's early on in his life.
Yeah, isn't it before like Fort of Doomsday or something like that?
Yeah, because he comments about the length of his hair,
Yeah.
which on the TV they filmed it out of order.
So Castrovalva.
Castrovalva, he had long hair, and then the one he filmed first, he had short hair, and then it went long
Fort
again.
of Doomsday, he had short hair. Yeah.
That was in there. You mentioned about. Do you think the length of my hair's changed? Well, all these things have just made me giggle a bit, and I do. I've got to say, I think I said it last week. I do prefer the Fifth Doctor on audio more.
Yeah, I know you do. And I thought that you know, this one's a really good one for the Fifth Doctor. It's got a lot of he's got a lot of problem solving and intellectual activity, and then he connects with patients, and you see his actually you see the character development from Gallifrey to now,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that what's going to happen with within the confines of Gallifrey, through the Arc of Infinity and then into the Fifth Doctor or the Five Doctors and stuff. You've got this really long character arc towards someone with a lot of gentility and peace and stuff. And so that that's why he went to the Orion or the Orion Cascade or something like that, wherever it was, the Eye of Orion.
Ryan, yeah.
And stuff, and he's just like, he feels like that's like he needs some peace and stuff because of all the growth that he's gone through. I mean, he's grown peaceful and old, and that he's gotten a bit like Yoda. The Fifth Doctor is a bit like Grandpa Yoda. It's just like he just kind of too cute, too feckless, too weird, to be considered serious. But yes, indeed, judge him by his cricket gear, really, and no, and so anyway, I just think, it was just, go
Right.
ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I
No,
do.
no. There was another bit what sort of made me giggle was the the part where Nissa bursts in on Quedge in his hotel room, and he's naked.
Yes.
I mean, for Nissa as well, because she wasn't a woman of the world, was she?
Well,
And she was,
not as much as the other flight crew,
and
right?
you could hear in her voice the way to getting out of it, and also just as soon as she said a little bit, she ran out the room.
Yeah.
Oops, she's thinking, oh, and he's naked. But using the Javanka name,
Yeah.
Bruce Javanka. That's the Seventh Doctor manipulating and playing gay,
Yeah.
But great characterizations from all of them. And it's great to have Roden Quedge in some audios.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of the Eighth Doctor's companion Fitz.
Fits. Yeah.
I think we need more of them. I know they're not doing any more of these novel adaptations, but I know Fitz only appeared in one audio. I think it was.
And how was he in a bunch of the books?
Yeah, he was with the McGann Doctor in the in
Virgin New
the
Adventures.
I think it was the BBC books, wasn't it?
Oh, in the BBC books. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. The Virgin ones only did was it one or two Eighth Doctor's books before they lost the license.
Huh.
So then the BBC got it back, and so the BBC got it back, and then they sort of carried on the range anyway. But it's just. But yeah, Fitz was a brilliant companion for the Eighth Doctor, but we should have him in audio more.
Yeah.
But going back to this story, this audio, it was good because it brought back a lot of memories of me reading the book.
I bet. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Um,
Did you were you someone who liked hearing about the new Time Lords and the new companions back then?
yeah, yeah. I mean, back then in the Virgin and the BBC books, they were taking what had gone before in the TV series, and they were sort of adapting it a little bit more and adding this and that. I mean, in this one, it's mentioned about Born of the Loom.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, in the books,
That isn't that from like Long Barrow or something?
yeah, I mean, Long Barrow was mentioned in this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, apparently back in the books, the Town Lords were born on the looms. Um, I mean that idea hasn't really taken off in the modernized version of Doctor Who.
No, not at all. And that was that part of the what was it? The Cartmel
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
what was
several,
it? What the Cartmel
the Catmel master plan or whatever it was
master
called.
plan? Yes.
But
Well,
yeah,
they are doing some of that in that they're making him or uh uh a definitely different kind of person than all of the like the other. Yeah.
the other, yeah, which which was the first in the books, wasn't it? The other.
Yeah, like that was before the first Doctor. Yeah, it was interesting, like that whole thing, and then in this one, there was enough little bits, like there a little bit that talked about what's his name, Morbius, the one of the Morbius Doctor. Anyway, I could go off, but the response to all of this is that who knows, the Doctor has both had more mystery added and more mystery taken out, and more, it's just it's gone different ways that I ever thought it would, but
But the more they do it, and the more they add, and the more they take out, the more it gets confusing sometimes.
and then all of a sudden they they put the they put the they put patience in this, and patience being, I just think that the patience needs to be expanded upon more. I mean, what a good character that was.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
So good.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
What
It
was
would.
her name? The one who played her?
It was. I'll tell you a minute because I've got it here. It was Christine Kavanagh.
Yeah, excellent playing on that.
Yeah, I don't think we mostly won't ever see Patience again. Because this was adapted from a novel, so
Yeah.
and as I said, they're not going to do any more. But
Yeah, and then there was then wasn't there like this thing called oh, what was that thing called? Um, there was like a sort of a unit type uh, agency. Anyway, that was there fighting them. The Fuji. Anyway,
The,
yeah,
the adjudicators.
the adjudicators. Yeah, but they weren't they? No, I mean like an Earthbound.
Oh, right.
Because weren't the adjudicators from Gallifrey, weren't they Time Lords or whatever?
No, no. As far as I remember, like the adjudicators were, if I remember rightly, worked for the Empress, the Empire. They were like a police force.
Okay,
Ros,
they were,
Ros,
they were
Ros and Quedge were both adjudicators in, I'm sure, the beginning of their time in the books. Then they
oh,
started to train with the Doctor.
okay. So the adjudicator, I always just I had this feeling like because they were sort of like all over the place, that they were more ubiquitous, that they were like Time Lords or Time Ladies. Anyway, that was just that was me thinking wrongly, but anyway, that was. Hmm.
Yeah, you see, if we had the books, we could read all the books again to get to
Get
remember
all
them
the
properly.
get all the truth. Yeah,
Yeah, to remember all the storylines properly.
yeah. Anyway, it was great. Like, do you have anything more? I mean, I got it. I kind of wanted to give praise to. I mean, the way Sylvester was so snarky. I mean, I know he really loves Peter Davison, but the way he was able to be so snarky, like the seventh Doctor was able to be so snarky toward the fifth Doctor, just like hating him, like that was snark and hate and blah.
There again, the seventh Doctor's the same with the sixth Doctor.
Yeah,
They're they're always when they do meet, they're always having a set two together.
yeah, yeah. All right,
So maybe it's in the nature of the seventh Doctor.
maybe. That's very maybe true. Uh, and what like wasn't it the weren't they together then in the light at the end too? Yeah, I think so. I think those two were
Yeah, must they? I think so. Yeah.
4 and 8 were together. 7 and 5.
Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long since I listened to that now.
I know. It's just great. Anyway, let's uh let's move on. What are your is there anything else you want to talk about regarding cold fusion?
No, it was a pretty good adaptation of a good novel from the 90s. I know there was things here changed here and changed there because they have to do that for audio.
Mm-hmm.
To get that book made into sound, they have to change things here and there. But it was pretty damn close to what I remember reading.
Good,
So they did a good job.
good. What are your final say and score then?
I recommend it. I really do. I recommend any Big Finish really. So
You know?
it's one of those things. Yeah, yeah, I'll recommend it. Um, Great acting, great having the teams split up and working together with different partners. Getting the two doctors together near the end, as you say, with the argy bargy. And remember, hit him on the back of the head when I say umbrella.
Umbrella.
But the seventh Doctor didn't say it. The fifth Doctor said it, and Roz smacked him one right across the back. Went down like a ton of bricks.
So fun.
But yeah, I'm gonna give this. It's an enjoyable listen. Maybe a bit too long. 6 episodes is quite for audio. We've always said 4-parters are the ideal length. So for me, I'm going to give it 9. 9 fusion bombs
Mm.
out of 10. So I don't know where the other fusion bomb went.
I don't either. I wish I did because that's a sun maker, a star maker. Yeah. And that was another good Doctor Who story, wasn't it? Like, let's see. I I think that the kindness and the grace of the Fifth Doctor is going to grow on Lee eventually, because yeah. Anyway, maybe not. No, it really is it. He really is sort of like old and just over being grumpy, and that's just what it seems. But you know, he yeah, I guess I will I'll agree with Lee. It's a 9 9 um 9 of the TARDISes on the cold ice planet out of 10. Um, I really do enjoy this. This is like my third time listening to this, and I just enjoy it a lot. It is it's always good to have a multi-doctor story, a 2-doctor story. And when you add in Patience, I just feel really like she should have like they should have done so much more because of her family connection. But like Susan, like that's just a pipe dream. But they could eventually find her in the end of the Time War, because weren't they all brought back? That's just what I remember. Anyway. So yeah, they should probably find Patience at the end of the Time War, and maybe she and Romana can start writing the books of the adventures of the Doctor. I don't know, or maybe their own adventures, and then maybe we'll hear about them.
You never know.
There's gotta be a lot, because she was into she this was only her first regeneration, and she was old. Oh my gosh, she was old.
Like tree bark.
Like tree bark. Yeah, she was really old. Anyway, far out. So yeah, Patience. That was my main. Uh, what I really pulled out of that was Patience. I enjoyed this. Let's do this again. And this is the second to last of the Fifth Doctor Appreciation Society audio reviews that we're doing. So I just encourage you to listen to all of them. And as you're listening or watching all of our audio reviews, please like these videos. or not like them. Just do something. Show us support or show us enmity, but just show us. And do subscribe to our channel. We have almost 440 subscribers, so that's really fun. And would like to invite you then, and I thank my friends and the people that I know in this city who are listening to our podcast now. Thank you, and I'd encourage you to hit the bell notification button, because because then we will give you a notification that we're releasing new videos, and joining our social media groups. We anticipate staying on Twitter and until it costs us money, and then if it costs us money, we might hit the just go back to Facebook full time. I don't really know, but because we don't make any money at these. These are just our absolute pride and joy to be able to share this with you.
These things just keep us off the streets.
That also is true. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so if you want to join us, if you need to be kept off the streets too, have a camera, microphone, and a device, have Zoom, and be over 18, because sometimes I get a bit salty, or sometimes our discussions get a bit heated, or sometimes what we're watching or what we're reviewing is a bit pornographic or whatever.
We don't review porn though.
We don't review porn, but we do review stuff that borders that.
They call it art.
They call it art. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks, Lee, for doing this with me. See you shortly, okay?